Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope everyone's doing good. Everyone's doing fine this Saturday afternoon where I am, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you guys could do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If you could be as kind, thank you so much. Now let's get into it. New news coming in over the last couple of hours. Man United are interested in Benjamin Sesko. Of course, I mentioned about the hijack of Benjamin Sesko only a couple of days ago, guys. First here on Stretford Post, I mentioned the hijack of Benjamin Sesko. I have my doubts about this player. I've been hearing a lot of stories about Benjamin Sesko, about his ability to score really great goals, but misses easy chances. He's not prolific. I mean, 13 goals in 33 appearances is almost Rasmus Højlund territory. And we're talking about the Bundesliga here. We're not talking about the Premier League, which is far more difficult. Of course, if it was between Benjamin Sesko and nobody, of course, we'll be going for Benjamin Sesko. But I just feel like with the price tag about 63 million euros, I think that is a little bit too steep, if you ask me, for a player of his prolificency, actually proficiency. Someone like that, at those numbers, I want to be looking at 25 plus goals a season in the Bundesliga, because obviously, we're going to have to kind of calculate the numbers he has in the Bundesliga to the numbers he could possibly get in the Premier League. And we all know that Premier League is far more difficult than the Bundesliga. It is. It's pretty obvious. So I have my reservations about that. There is rumors. It is only rumors at the end of the day, but I did hear about it a couple of days ago, which is why on the thumbnail I did say Benjamin Sesko hijack a couple of days ago. So it's an interesting one. It's one to look for. Man United do have him on their radar. He is on their transfer list. So whether we get him or not is another story. There is obviously... You can be interested in a player. It doesn't mean that you're going to get the player, because otherwise then we'll get hundreds of players, won't we? But just to let you know, Man United are interested in Benjamin Sesko, but he is not. He's been said to be the priority. I don't believe he's the priority. Gyokeres is the priority. Man United want Gyokeres, and Man United want Victor Osimhen. But Sesko is an option, guys. Absolutely. Let's read some of your comments, guys. Big up, Sanjay. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Natty, hope you're doing well. Good afternoon now. And the spinning about Sesko's reality. We signed Mateta. Big up, Lucky Singh as well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Sal, I'm amazed. I mean, I'm going to get into that, Natty, very soon. Mateta, look, guys, people sleeping on Mateta. I think Mateta is an excellent player. I think he would be much more effective than Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko is still a project player. He's 21 years old, coming from the Bundesliga. I look at Mateta and I look at that FA Cup final and I look at his performance and I think, wow, this guy in the Crystal Palace shirt as well, which is far more difficult. And every time we played against Mateta, he's always given a good game. He's always looked dangerous, So I wouldn't rule out a Mateta, because Mateta's a good player. But obviously the new name on the block, of course, is Benjamin Sesko. Obviously was close, apparently, to signing for Arsenal. Lots of Arsenal fans have had their reservations about Sesko themselves. We've had a lot of, even Lee Cotton, of course, Lee Gunner, has been talking about Benjamin Sesko, and he's not good enough, and things like that. Mamouche scored more goals than Benjamin Sesko in Germany, and Mamouche is a different position, he's attacking midfielder. So that is a very interesting one. That's an interesting one. But, I wouldn't say no. Obviously, if we don't sign any strikers, I would rather have Benjamin Sesko through the door than nobody. I've always said he's a good player, but he's not a levels player that's going to get you 20 goals in the Premier League, 25 goals in the Premier League, which is precisely what Manchester United need, because we don't want Rasmus Højlund numbers. We don't want Rasmus Højlund numbers. And when you calculate it and you think about Benjamin Sesko, in the Premier League, is he going to score more than 13 goals than he has done in the Bundesliga? Let's say Benjamin Sesko goes to the Premier League and scores 5 goals. It's not what we want, is it? He's a project player, and I think Man United need to look far and wide for a different player, of course. Danny B, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. And again, I do say this. I say this like not with disrespect, but I do say this. He's 63 million pounds, right? And he's got 13 goals in 33 appearances in the Bundesliga. Guys, that is, come on. Like that's not numbers at the end of the day. That's not levels. For me, that isn't. I'll be totally honest with you. That's not the numbers that we should be looking for. We should be looking for far higher numbers than that. Absolutely. Ben Tesco, Danny B. Big up, Danny B. How you doing, Ben Tesco? Oh, goodness me. Danny, do you have to big up Danny B though, man? Big up. That's funny. That's funny. Absolutely. Sal, why we did not put a bid for Gyokeres? I'm going to get into that. Man United have put in a bid for Gyokeres. Whether it's accepted or not, that is another story. In regards to Gyokeres, Man United are not going to be able to afford him. They can afford Gyokeres. They can. But the problem at the moment that we're having is whether Gyokeres wants to sign for Man United. Obviously, there is doubt about his ambition to play in the Champions League and go, and that is obviously fair enough. But Man United feel they can still strike a deal with him. Whether we do it, whether it happens or not, is another story. Man United can at least try it. But what I don't want, right, I don't want us dragging this whole transfer saga all the way through the summer transfer window. And when it gets to the last day of the transfer window, we don't get anyone. We probably get a desperate buy. That's what I don't want. We need to get our deals done early, get them done through the door. That's our team. That's our preseason. There we go. That's what I would say about that. Of course. Hello, Steve-O. What's going on, Steve? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Sal, afternoon, brother. How are you doing, Graham? Good to see you, Sal. Pleased for Obi yesterday. We were only gaining him confidence. 202 likes, only 41 likes. Guys, let's get to 50 likes, guys. Thank you so much. Big up, Grayo, the legend. Sal, please, everyone, can you smash a like? Thank you, brother. Always, as always, every single day. Thank you, Grayo, my friend. Good to see you. Big up, Freya. Good to see you again, Freya. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're good. Hope you're feeling fine. Yeah, so look, you know what? This is what you call silly season. This is what I call it in regards to when the transfer window happens, there are players out there that we're going to be interested in, and we just have to be patient. But one thing's for certain, every single player that I will mention on this show has substance in regards to there's a truth in it. Right. It's pretty obvious that Man United are looking at Sesko. It's pretty obvious we're looking at Gyokeres, Osman, Mateta, those type of players. Man United are looking at these type of players. Of course they are. If we know about these players, they're going to know. With Vivell, Wilcox, Brailsford, and Berardo going to be looking at these players, of course. But Man United's priority is not Benjamin Sesko. It is Gyokeres. Man United could possibly do a deal for Sesko if every other transfer doesn't go their way, basically. Sesko is a good young player, but I would argue, right? I would argue this, and guys, you can correct me, but I would argue if Chido Obi Martin was playing for Leipzig in the Bundesliga, how many goals would Chido Obi Martin score? Tell me right now, how many would he score? Well, Benjamin Sesko's got 13 and 33, which I don't think is numbers that, fill me with wow, excite me. It's not that, of course. Natty. Sal, what is your thought on Pedro Concalves? Good player. Another Portuguese player, though, isn't it? I'd probably sign him now, Natty. Big up. Been interested in Pedro for a while. Big up, Frere. Obi is more technical than Højlund. He is. Absolutely. No spoilers from Steve in the next couple of months before the new season starts. Well, we're doing the Champions League final tonight, guys. So we might get some spoilers from Steve tonight. We're doing the Champions League final, so that could be a thing tonight. The Champions League, Steve, Steve didn't join us for the preseason friendlies, though, funny enough, isn't it? Steve only likes all that glamorous stuff, doesn't he? He likes the important games and things like that, doesn't he? Definitely. Jeff, I don't understand what is going on with our great club, because why are we not going for proven striker instead of low option Gyokeres or nothing? Jeff, Billion, big up Billion. Thanks to you, Jeff. Thank you so much. What I would say, Jeff, is that you're right, mate. I feel the same. I think Man United need to stop buying players that are potentially going to get Man United potentially to the place we want to go to. I think that we need players who are proven. I think we need players who can score goals, who've got a proven track record of scoring goals. And I'm not talking about just goals. When we look at Osman has scored 35 goals, right? Look, I'm going to get the numbers up right now. I'm going to get the numbers up right now. Let me see if I can get the numbers up. So Victor Osman this season, right? Because we hear a lot of now. Victor Osman. So Osman has scored 26 goals in the league, just the league alone, guys, in the league alone, in 30 matches, right? In 30 matches. Add about 10 for I think he scored. So if we go to Victor Osman and we go to the stats of Victor Osman, and people are going to throw this at me. Oh, but Sal, It's the Turkish league. It's the Turkish league. He done it for Napoli. All right. He done it for Napoli. He done it in Serie A as well. So when we look at his numbers, we look at Victor Osimhen's numbers. Yeah, he scored like 10, 15 goals in cup competitions as well. You know, so that guy is absolutely prolific. 36 goals odd. My goodness me. Goodness me. Absolutely. Big up everyone. Thank you for joining me. Of course, big up everyone. So is Bruno staying? I would say it is a 50-50 at the moment. Bruno Fernandes had a Zoom call with Al Hilal from Saudi Arabia only a couple of days ago. The meeting went very well, apparently. And also Bruno's agent was in Saudi Arabia as well, which has been proven. He was in Saudi Arabia talking to the Saudi Arabian club Al Hilal as well. One thing's for certain, Bruno's head has been turned. And he is interested. But Ruben Amorim wants to keep Bruno Fernandes. He's desperate to keep him. Whether he can keep him there or not, he's going to try and persuade him. There you go. There was a subliminal message on Bruno Fernandes' Instagram, I believe it was, where, you know, even if you failed, at least you tried, you know, which is more than you can say for other people. This is basically what he said on his Instagram, which is a little bit, you know, a little bit biting a little bit, but you know, are we reading between the lines here in regards to if I failed, at least I tried, sort of thing? You know, are we reading towards in between the lines that he, you know what, he's leaving? Maybe it could be that way. I think we do need to sell him, in my opinion, honestly. Regarding Gyokeres, I don't want to drag it out like Ugarte saga last summer. I hope we can lose the deadwood before we can see where we are financially. Yeah. Look, what I would say is that Ineos are the king manipulators. They've got money, and I'm not going to fall for that business where they haven't got money. I know full well they've got money, you know, and I said that before because I remember before Erik Ten Hag was sacked, they say we ain't got the money to sack Ten Hag. People saying, and lo and behold, Ten Hag was sacked, and we got in Ruben Amorim, and we spent bloody a lot of money on those two people. You know what I mean? And they're just the king manipulators, those guys. And they're going to try their utmost to persuade us that they've got no money, which is probably why they're making another 200 people redundant, 1,000 altogether. You know, big up, Gray. Sal, I just checked out about our transfer updates and saw that Man United have been talking with Gyokeres' agent, and they are talking with Bremer as well. We are interested with Pedro Concalves. Yeah, we're interested in a few players, Freya. Yeah, Man United are interested in a few players. I spoke this morning about Embremo. I spoke about that. Man United are confident of getting Embremo. Embremo has said that he's not interested in it. He is interested in the Champions League, but it's not the be-all and end-all. It's not the be-all and end-all in regards to the transfer. Embremo wants the project. He likes the Man United project. I mean, wow. I mean, he's easily pleased. But no, Embremo wants the Man United project. And there is obviously people who think that he's going to go to Newcastle. But everyone, despite Champions League, guys, we're still Man United for now. We're still Man United, and we still got that pull. We're still Manchester United. Many players, and I think if Mbeumo comes to Man United instead of Newcastle, that just shows me he wants to play for Manchester United, and that's brilliant. You know, he wants to play for Man United. I like that about a player, you know, who wants to play for us and doesn't, you know, just wants to go for the Champions League like Delap. But Delap's getting 200 grand a week, apparently. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Pedro Concalves, mentioned him earlier. Of course, yeah, Man United are interested in Pedro Concalves, as we are with a lot of players. But this is going to be a pre-season where we're going to be interested in a lot of players, and one might strike, two might strike, hopefully 5 or 6 by the end of the transfer window strikes. And you know what? We have a decent team to start us off for the pre-season. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to go into pre-season on the 19th of July in good spirits, with a good team, with a new team, you know, and feeling more confident, you know. That's what I hope anyway, of course. Obi would score 15, 20 goals in the Bundesliga. Yes, he would. There you go. So there you go, Kenny. So if Sesko is getting 13 goals in the Bundesliga, why would he score more than that in the Premier League? You know, that's not even 1 in 2 in the Bundesliga. You know, in the even Sancho's getting numbers in the Bundesliga. You know, if you're looking at the Bundesliga and then you compare it to the Premier League, you got to be looking at, you know, 20 to 30 goals in the Bundesliga. I'm looking at 25, 30 goals in the Bundesliga. You know, 13 goals is not bad. I know that in 33 appearances, but it's not like a player that you look at and think, wow. You know, because I can get any player then. You can get any player and he will score 13 goals up front. for Leipzig. You know what I mean? In 33 games, probably, you know? I think even Rasmus would get close to that. Man United should act quickly to sign Gyokeres to bring him to Old Trafford. I agree, mate. I agree 100%. TV, I promise to do my best, buddy. Big up, Steve. Big up, Stevie. Big up, Stephanie. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. So, why do they not buy before sending? I think it's a good idea because they do not know how much money we got. Natty, that's a smart comment, mate. That's a very smart comment because, the biggest concern that I have is that the Bruno thing has been so publicly announced, right? As usual, at Man United, we're so incompetent in regards to that. It hasn't improved, has it? It's been so publicly announced so that when he does go to the Saudi Arabian club, and it's dragging out as well, when he does go to the Saudi Arabian club, if he goes to the Saudi Arabian club, and Man United get 100 odd million for him, every single team and their dog is going to know that Man United have got 100 million in the bank. So they, instead of like Gyokeres being 60, they're going to say 80. You know, instead of Osimhen being 60, they're going to say 80. Instead of, these players, and then it's going to be like, and Bremo, 50. No, 70. It's going to be like that. This is why you don't talk about these things in public. But Man United seem very good at doing it. And they're their own worst enemy at times, the way we're run. The way Liverpool, the way Chelsea are run is get the deal done, gone at the end of the day. Look at Frimpong. Frimpong was announced, right? And is at Anfield today. He's actually there today. No messing about. Nothing. No public announcements. No PR. Signed for Liverpool. Done. Walking in at Anfield. Next thing you look at, you don't even hear nothing about it. He's at Anfield. That's what Man United need to do. Like, this is what it is. And this is what disappoints me because we need to save as much money as we possibly can. But we don't want these teams knowing that we got 100 million for Bruno. So they're going to say, oh, you got 100 million. Why don't you pay extra money for Gyokeres? There you go. It is how it is, guys. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Is Kankaus at 8 or 10? I haven't watched him since I saw him Premier League with Wolves. I think he could play both, Danny B. Man United, one thing about Man United is that we are going to be looking for versatile players that we can play in various positions. And in regards to Pedro Cancalves, I know, look, you know what, it's written, guys. It's written that we are going to get a Sporting Lisbon player. We're going to get a player that's associated with Sporting Lisbon, right? That is pretty obvious. One thing about Pedro Cancalves is that he's 26, okay, and he's at that age where it's like his peak, right? And I do think Man United need players like this at their peak. I do think they need players like this at their peak. I wouldn't say no to the player. He's got 14 matches this season only. Is he a first team player? Has he been injured? What's going on there? He's only got 14, 15 games this season, only 5 goals. So where do we go from this in regards to that? Again, prolific. Is he prolific? Why is he not playing that many games? Why is he only got 15 games this season? And obviously Sporting Lisbon had been in the Champions League. So why has he got only that amount of games this season? These are the questions that we do have to ask ourselves, guys, he is a left winger, basically, by trade, a central midfielder as well, right winger. So obviously, in regards to Ruben Amorim, that would be music to his ears because he could play Cancalves as a right winger, or he could play him as a left winger, or he could play him as a central midfielder. That would be music to his ears, of course. But, I'm a little bit skeptical. He has 3 caps for Portugal, all right, at 26. So what? It's not much. And his market value goes up to 38 million. So would you spend that money on Pedro Cancalves, or would you just pay an extra 10 million and get Mbeumo? What would you do? I don't want this thing where we're just signing Portuguese players. I know that Jose Mourinho done it when he bought Deco, Thiago, Ferreira, and Carvalho, and all these players when he went to Chelsea. I don't want it being like a thing where we're just signing Portuguese players because Ruben Amorim's Portuguese, which is why he don't want to sell Bruno and why Dalot plays every single game. I don't want it being like that because you're going to fall on the sword like that. You're going to fall flat on your face like that, in my opinion. You have to buy the best out there, of course. You do. So we ain't chasing Osimhen because his salary is questioned. That's the problem for it. And this is going to be the problem going forward. Man United are not in the Champions League. So Man United are not going to pay the amount of money. As Ben Jacobs said yesterday, big up Ben Jacobs, he's been on my show twice. As he said yesterday, Man United are interested in Frere. We are interested in him, and we are chasing him, Frere. I don't just speculate. I'm not just talking about him to help waste my breath, but he is on a lower chance of signing Osimhen than Gyokeres, which is what Ben Jacobs exactly said. I said this last week. It's exactly, we're more chance of signing Gyokeres than Osimhen. But that doesn't mean that we're not chasing Osimhen. We're not interested in Osimhen. Chasing is a different word. We're not chasing him. We're interested in him. So basically, we have a transfer list of players that we want. Osimhen's price, obviously, leaving the Turkish league to come to the Premier League, he might take a pay cut. You don't know about that because obviously it is the Premier League. But Man United are more likely to sign Gyokeres than Osimhen. Stephanie, you saw it. Yeah, look, when we look at that message, it does look very subliminal, doesn't it? It does look a little bit writings on the wall sort of thing. Just because you fouled. Now, guys, if you look at Bruno Fernandes' career at Man United, guys, if you look at Bruno Fernandes' career at Man United, let's think about this. If you fouled, at least you tried. Okay, this is more or less what Bruno Fernandes was saying on his Instagram post. But looking back at Bruno Fernandes' career at Manchester United, would you say he's failed? Would you say he's failed at Man United? Would you say he's underachieved at Man United? Now, I firmly believe that throughout Bruno's career, he deserved better. I do, in my opinion. But individually, with his stats he's got, of course, we get all these stats thrown at us and stuff like that. Would you say that Bruno has failed at Manchester United? You know? We are becoming a crybaby if Bruno goes. Some people think we will die. I mean, I've seen great players leave this football club, Natty. I've seen Cantona leave this football club. Beckham, Scott, Stam, leave this football club. Bruce, leave this football club. I've seen great players. Cristiano Ronaldo leave this football club, and we've gone on, at the end of the day. What Man United need to do, Man United right now have a derelict building. We're living in a derelict building, and we have one vase on the mantelpiece. So basically on the fireplace, we have a vase, and that vase is worth £50,000, right? But we're living in a derelict building. So what do? Right, we got £50,000, and it cost £30,000 to get our roof done because our roof is leaking, right? Do we sacrifice the vase that we love so dearly, but it's 50 grand? Or do we just live in a derelict building with leaking roofs? What do we do there? Like, we cannot afford luxury players. We cannot afford luxury players anymore. Bruno's what I would deem a luxury player. And I think that regardless of what Bruno is, and he's a fantastic player, been a fantastic servant for Man United, I think we need to cash in now and build a team. That's what I think we need to do, Now, the subliminal message on his Instagram, it's better than trying than failing, than not trying, What is your opinion on that? Do you think that Bruno Fernandes has failed at Man United? Do you think that his tenure at Man United would be deemed a failure? Statistically, individually, I don't think it is. Personally, I don't think it is. As a team, as a captain, as in regards to achievements, because it all boils down to trophies at the end of the day, I think that it's been a failure for me. But, he's been the best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson, in my opinion, right? But as I said just now, we cannot afford luxury players, guys. We really can't. And I think that we have to move on from this sentimental feelings towards players. You cannot get anywhere if you're sentimental, if you're emotional. You won't get anywhere. You have to be ruthless. And I think that is what Man United need to do. Absolutely. Big up, Natty. 400 people live, 49 likes. Thank you, Stephanie. Come on, can we get to 60 likes, guys? Thank you so much. Guys, don't forget to smash a like on the video. It's very important that you smash likes on the video because the video, it runs with algorithms, YouTube, right? So when you push the like button, it really does help with the algorithms and stuff. YouTube, it loves the algorithm, doesn't it? At the end of the day, that is what YouTube is all about. So please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely splendid. Thank you so much, those who've done it already. Deep pockets, short arms. I called it. I said that a long time ago, Stephanie. I called it Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome. People who have short arms, right, but deep pockets. So basically, they can't reach their pockets to take out anything to give, but they can take because their arms are right there on their midriff. So they can take. I call it Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome. And unfortunately, you meet a lot of people in life who have Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome, who have short arms and can't go in their pockets to get money out, but can take. Sadly, that is the case, of course, with Ineos and Man United. What we have right now, we have Tyrannosaurus Rex syndrome owners. Unfortunately, but if their mouth could do the actions, bloody hell, we'd be the richest team in the world. At the end of the day. Lucky Singh, we don't have money for that, Temescan. Bloody hell, Temescan's just going in on lots of these players. Temescan, mate. We can all throw names out there, what we need, what we can have. We need everyone, don't we? We can all do that, guys. Just be wary of sending multiple messages, Lucky Singh, okay? Please. Be for this, Sal. Should we just wasting our time with Gyokeres? No, I don't think we are wasting our time, Beef. But I would give it a deadline. 1st of June is when the window opens, Beef. The window's not even open yet. The 1st of June it opens. It closes on the 10th. So this is a unique opportunity for Man United to get a player in early. Now, if it between the 1st and between the 10th, if Man United don't get Gyokeres in, or they don't agree a fee or deal with Gyokeres, move on after the 10th of June. That's what I would say. It's the 1st of June tomorrow. So we got from the 1st till next week, guys. So basically, we got 1 week, this whole week. If there's no developments into Gyokeres, Gyokeres is on holiday at the moment. We can't really do much. But if there's no development in regards to Gyokeres, move on. If Embremo is impressed with our plans, then that is great news and positive one. Yeah, look, Fred, what we need is players who actually want to play for this football club, actually understand what this football club is about. If I was a footballer, right, I'm a Man United fan. I know it's a conflict of interest and stuff like that. But if I was a footballer, I would want to sign for Man United because of Man United's history. I would want to be that guy who played for the team who were underachieving for so many years. And then I'm the one who brought them back to where they are. Because at Man United, right, you win. You bring Man United to the promised land. You would be literally worshipped as a player. You would be worshipped as a player. It won't be just, we won it and that's it, like Man City. You'll be worshipped as a player, and you'll be probably statues being built after you and all that in the future. Tomorrow is transfer day. Yes, it is. Beef Bully until the 10th, but it's opening again in July, of course. Only 3 teams run Bundesliga. Absolutely. Well, 2 technically, don't they? Big up. Only 3 teams. Yeah. Big up. Remember Werner in the Bundesliga? Yeah, exactly. I remember, Danny B. I don't know if you remember a player called Sean Dundee. Sean Dundee was a player, I think he played for Stuttgart, if I'm not wrong. He played for Stuttgart. Sean Dundee scored a lot of goals in the Bundesliga. Ended up signing for Liverpool, right? And this is a prime example. This was in the 90s, okay, bearing in mind. But the Bundesliga was a lot stronger for me in that period. It was a golden generation, in my opinion, right? And didn't score any in the Premier League. Couldn't score. Couldn't hit a barn door. Couldn't score. And at the end of the day, look, you can strike it lucky. You can get players coming in. Mamouche is a good player. These type of players. But to think that Sesko, in a position like he is in, is going to come to Man United and score 30 goals when he can't score 20 in the Bundesliga, right? 13 in 33 appearances. My opinion is this, right? My opinion is that should be the last option for me. It's not like he's 25 million, 35 million even. He's not like he's that, is it? He's 63 million, guys. And that is just the starting. That's just the starting rate. Guys, that's just the starting rate. It's 63 million. Natty, the one thing that improved this year is no leaks. I agree with that. Well, leaks. And then Natty, we got Bruno. Everything's leaking out at the moment. Even I know a lot of things about what's going on at the moment. Liverpool are already 2 or 3 years ahead of us. Oh, they're going to go further ahead now. Trust me, they're going to go. Have United squashed the Bruno? No. Which means, Cowboy, Yorkshire Cowboy, big up Yorkshire Cowboy, what you're doing, which means there's an element of truth, isn't it? You know, Man United have basically given a vote of confidence in regards to how they feel about Bruno. I mean, Amorim has obviously spoken highly about Bruno, how he loves Bruno, how he wants Bruno to stay, rah, and stuff like that. Okay, that's great. But at the end of the day, where are we going to get the money from then, Amorim? You know, we need to build a team. We can't be concentrating on individuals anymore. The days of those individual days have gone. It's bad timing. Wished all the Bruno talk was after we sold Rashford, Sancho, and Anthony, and that would have helped with the decision to stay or leave, knowing that what better players we were buying. It's just the way Man United have been doing things. This is typical of what Man United have been doing for the last few years. Nothing has changed, really. We thought since we had Brailsford, Wilcox, Vival, and Barada that things would change, but they haven't, obviously. I know everything about what's going on Man United. I think a lot of people do. And I think there's no secret who Man United are chasing at the moment. The players that we want at the moment. There's no secret, you know. And I mean, I'm getting names every single day. Did you know we're interested in that player? Did you know we're interested in this player? And by the hour, like Pedro Concalves, right? By the hour, there's players that come out and Man United are interested in. I turn around and we're interested in another player. You know, it's madness, isn't it? At the end of the day. 15 games, no thank. Exactly, Danny B. Why are we not looking at this? This is what I'm saying. A lot of people talk about Pedro Concalves. Why has he only played 15 games? Why has Trincao, who people love, only got 3 caps or something like that for Portugal? They're so great, right? Why haven't they got caps? You know what I mean? And people need to look at these things. I question things, you know. I question things all the time. I don't just look at it and think, he's my favorite player. He's going to be brilliant. Why has he got only that many caps for Portugal then? What's going on there? You know, and that's what I look at. How comes he's only got that many goals? Like Benjamin Sesko. Yeah, in the Bundesliga, he scored 13 goals this season in 33 appearances in the Bundesliga. Now, how do you expect him to score more than that in the Premier League, which is obviously a much tougher league? I mean, it does beg the question, doesn't it? You know? Why is that, Kenny? Why wouldn't you mind Pedro Concalves, who's only got 15 games this season? Why would you want to substitute Sporting Lisbon player? Why? You know? Because it's the man of the hour. What is it? Come on, tell me. Is it the man that people are talking about? You know? But I mean, never watched him play. You know what I mean? I mean, he's got 15 games this season for Sporting Lisbon. Frere, and Sporting Lisbon in Champions League, by the way. So she should have more games, shouldn't it? So do you think Amorim will bring Trincao? Probably, but I don't want Trincao. Look at Trincao. Like, this is exactly what I'm saying. You know, what I'm talking about. I wouldn't mind him than anyone, but I mean, I'm saying this, right? Cunha and Mbeumo and Cherki are better players than Trincao. You know, I would say that. You know, because so when you look at someone like Trincao, like I'm going to bring it up right now because there's a lot of fuss about Trincao. I'm just going to clear this up, right? Okay, so Trincao, right? 34 matches, 9 goals in Portugal, 14 assists. Not bad. Right? Not bad. Good player. 25 years old. Right? Good age. Right? But then you look at the fact that why hasn't he had many Portuguese caps? You know? Why doesn't he play for Portugal? You know? And why is it 25? He's 25, guys. He's 25. You know? And, you know, 10 caps for Portugal since 2020. You know, I'm looking at that. Look, we have to look at this subjectively. If he's such an amazing player, why did he go on loan at Wolves in 2021, 22, 28 appearances, 2 goals, right? I mean, that's not very like, wow, is it? You know? That was only a couple of years ago, guys. We got to look at this. We got to look at things, obviously. Mbeumo has scored 20 goals from his position. Right? 20 goals from his position in the Premier League. He scored 2 goals for Wolves in the Premier League. We have to look at these. I'd be surprised if we do not sign any Sporting players. The only player I would bring from Sporting Lisbon, in my opinion, is Ignacio. That's the only player I would bring in, the defender. Or Diamande as well. For that price, with 15 games, run away from the deal. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. You know? You got to look at things in a subjective way. You got to look at things like not just oh wow, he's the man of the hour. You know, he's the man of the hour. He's so good. But why don't we ask that question? Why didn't he do well at Wolverhampton Wanderers? Right now, let's ask you. You're gonna tell me. You're gonna answer me that. You know what, Cunha has scored. You know, what about Cunha? He was at Wolves. Yeah, but Cunha scored 15 goals for Wolves this season, and he didn't play every game. 15 goals for Wolves this season. And Mbeumo has scored 20 goals for Brentford this season. Now, you look at Sporting Lisbon, okay? Let's think about Sporting Lisbon. 9 goals, right? 9 goals in the Portuguese league. It's not numbers. It's not like Gyokeres numbers where Gyokeres is hitting 40 goals a season. It's not like that. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. We have to look at that. He's not 20. He's 25. You know what I mean? That's what we need to look at. You know, 10 caps in his whole career for Portugal. 2 goals. Probably against Liechtenstein or something like that. You know what I mean? Is a chunky Man City news true? It is true, Kenny. Unfortunately, they are the ones who are in for him at the moment. They're the ones who are making concrete bid for him at the moment. So whether it does look a little bit bleak in regards to Turkey because we're not moving with him. We're not moving on. You know, I like him. Osman does have high pace with him. That's one advantage. Yep. Unless someone else makes a higher bid, City will probably get him, Kenny. Yep. I don't think Man United stand a chance once Man City are in the equation. Just like the other players they bought, like Estevary, Danny, you know, just like Estevary, you know, we're going to miss out. Teams are going to miss out because they get the deal done, you know. For goodness sake, we've been talking about Mastantuono for a long time. But, you know, I've given up with talking about him. I know that we're after him. I know that we have been in talks with his agents. I know that. But nothing has happened. We're dragging it on again. You know, great teams would have got the deal done. It would have already been done. Signed, sealed, delivered. Natty, Sal, did you hear Tuchel told Delap if you were in Champions League, you were... Yeah, I heard about that at the end of the day. Who cares what Tuchel thinks? You know what I mean? I don't really care what Tuchel thinks. At the end of the day, look, you know, isn't that a little bit of bribery sort of thing? Isn't that cheating? Isn't that like a bit of bringing a game into disrepute? For, you know, should he be getting involved in what Delap does? What does he have to do with it? Go to Chelsea, earn your 200,000 a week, your 200 bags a week. Go for it. We move on, and just as long as Man United do actually move on and don't spread the whole bloody pre-season, you know, after these players. I hope not. Yale, good morning. Bruno lost 2 European League finals, but won 1 League and Cup and FA Cup. Is that enough for Man United? If Bruno leaves, then Amram should sign Pedro Concalves. Why? Why for it? Again, look, this is where we're going on the low football IQ level, right? Freya, why? 15 games this season for Sporting. Why is it only 15 games? Why? He's not a first teamer for Sporting, so why should he be a first teamer for Man United? Why? Again, like, you know, we're throwing these names out there just because they're Portuguese and it's fashionable. You know, we're doing that, but why should he play for Man United? What gives him the right? 15 games for Sporting. They played in the Champions League this season. He should have 30, 40 games for Sporting this season. You know, at the end of the day, look, you know, come on, guys. I think the fans are losing it on Bruno Saturday because the Ronaldo sells and didn't invest the money properly. I get the PTSD. Yeah, it's something I've been mentioning for a long time, Kenny, isn't it? You know, Bruno has been, I mean, as long as the money, in fairness to the Glazers, and I don't like to say any positives about the Glazers, in fairness to them, they did say that any money that goes on the transfers should be reinvested in the squad. That's what they say. Bruno has been fantastic servant for the club on and off the pitch. Going to miss him, having him if he does go. I don't miss any player, to be honest. We move on. It's been a bad 10 years. I mean, what I've witnessed in my life, I've seen 13 championships. I've seen great players leave. Whatever will be. Next. That's it. That's how we should be. They're rich. They're millionaires. He's going to get 700 grand a week in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? There's far more pressing issues. I'm not going to miss him. No way, absolutely not. I fear Rashford will be in the preseason. It will get toxic if he's here. Could be. Natty, absolutely. So I'll take these, the David Sonny Gomez, along with others. Big up, Beef Bully. Sal, this is why Cunha will become welcomed at Old Trafford, because he actually wants to play for us. This kind of player we need, and let's hope we get more of the same. I agree, mate. Absolutely. So, who's your favourite midfielder in Manchester United's history? Paul Scholes. There are more leaks than ever. Yeah, there's more leaks than, Old Trafford, to be honest. It is ironic, isn't it, that Old Trafford leaks, doesn't it? It is ironic. Sometimes making me have less faith in a striker from Bundesliga. I could take a CDM from the league, but a striker, nah. Look, a striker is a specialized position. Let me bring to you, for example, Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Sir Alex Ferguson, back in the day, could have went out there and bought Stan Collymore. He could have went out there and bought Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He could have went out there and got Alessandro Del Piero or Roberto Baggio. Any one of these players, Alan Boxic, you name it, Fabrizio Ravanelli. He could have got all these players, but didn't. You've got to look at things subjectively. You've got to look at the numbers. In the Bundesliga, if you are actually that guy, you should be hitting late 20s, 30s at, in the Bundesliga. This is not the Premier League. And that's how I would say it, guys. And Arsenal fans would agree with me as well. Yeah. We are interested, though. That's the thing, Danny. And you have to say that. Man United will sign players this summer. 79 likes. Big up, Graham. Thank you so much. Big up everyone who smashed the like. Big up everyone. I don't think the Kane guy from the Bundesliga will make it in the EPL. Yeah. And how many goals has Kane scored this season, Box? 40? 40, 45 at 31? You know what I mean? Not 13. 40. You know what I mean? No, there's a different levels to this game, man. Levels, he's proven it, yeah. And he's scoring goals for fun. We bought Dorgu with dreadful stats, though. Dorgu's different, Box. Dorgu's different. Dorgu plays in the Serie A, which is a much stronger league than the Bundesliga, in my opinion. Which is why Inter Milan are in the final of the Champions League. Dorgu played for Lecce, right? Lecce are relegation fodlers in Serie A, right? So he's a young kid as a left wing back, right? When you're signing a left back, you're not basically judged on goals and assists, right? Dorgu crossed more crosses than most players in the Serie A. He's a very highly rated player, and he's been looked at by Man United since the summer. I look at Dorgu and I think he's really good, and I agree with the transfer. But defenders are different. And you have to look at that. And Serie A is much stronger in regards to players and stuff. But Lecce are far more down the league than Leipzig. So you got to look at that subjectively. Danny, we are linked to 20 players. We are interested in buying. Mastantuano to PSG, probably. Let's wait and see what happens. Yeah. For more money than Frimpong. Yeah, and there you go. And Frimpong's won the Bundesliga. Frimpong's playing for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, and he's got stats. Exactly. Frimpong has been killing it in the Bundesliga for a while now, and this is exactly what it is. And he costs less than what we're going after. Like players like Sesko, who are going to cost 63 million. Come on. It's mad, Dabizas. They couldn't find a striker and had to buy EPL striker. So why has he only got 14 games for Sporting this season, mate? Why? Is he injured? Then we don't want injured players, mate. We don't want injured players. Yeah, we don't want injured players, mate. We've got injured players. We're done with injured players, mate. So that means that Concals has, missed half a season of games. That means he's missed half a season of games. Madness. Absolutely. We don't want that anymore. People need to stop using FIFA Ultimate Team as a scouting tool. There you go, Yorkshire Cobra. I agree with that, mate. I don't use that. I ain't played a game in 10 years. Not with only 15 games played this season, Box. Even if he's injured, I don't want players that have been injured for their clubs. We've got enough injuries. That means he's missed half a season. Come on, guys. Wake up. Wake up. He's injury prone, Box. He's injury prone. No thanks, mate. Me too, man. No thanks. We're not being snobbish. We're being smart, Box. We're being smart. You know, we're being smart. I do this for a living, mate. You know, I look at the injury records. I look at that. We got to look at things subjectively. If he gets injured next season, misses half a season, then we're back in the same situation the old Mason Mount, right? We're going to be spending 50 million. We're going to be another Mason Mount. Do we want that? Do we want that? Come on, man. I don't care if he's instrumental at Sporting in the Portuguese league. Amarim was instrumental at Sporting. You know, that is what Sporting were. That is Amarim, not him. And that, 2 goals in 28 appearances. 2 goals in 28 appearances. Very instrumental. You know what I mean? For Wolves. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely. Goodness me. Goodness me. I agree, Sal. Gyokeres or Ignazio Demanda, only one I would take. Absolutely, Danny B. Danny B. You know Danny B. Let me tell you something about Danny B. Danny B actually goes out and scouts players. He doesn't go to FIFA. He actually looks at players. Right? Danny B knows his stuff. I'm not being rude. I'm not being anything like that, guys. But I don't come on here and just talk a load of garbage. I look at things subjectively. I look at things from every point of view. We bought Mason Mount. Mason Mount was Chelsea's player of the season. Not in the Portuguese league, by the way. Right? He won the Champions League with Chelsea. He was Chelsea's player of the season. But he was injury prone. Now, injuries have killed Mason Mount. Pelvis injury. Medication for pelvis injury has knock-on effects. Right? It's killed him. I don't want another Mason Mount. Thank you very much. 15 games. Look, how many games has Sporting played this season? 50? 60? He's played 15. Come on, guys. You know, you're living in the dream world, man. The only league that closes EPL is Serie A. Absolutely, I agree with that. I agree with that. Tough to beat. Tough to beat. Dylan, Trincao stinks. I agree, mate. This obsession with Trincao is like, man, 25. You know, I mean, I only hear, the only time I hear about Trincao is when someone's talking about him on here. I mean, and I watch a lot of Portuguese football. David says, heck, I think Serie A is even better than LPL. No, won't go that far, David says. Don't go there, mate. Look at the EPL. I mean, Europa League, look at that. The 15th and 16th went to Europa League final. Look at the Conference League final. Look what Man United done to Athletic Bilbao. It's only Spain and England, and then it's Serie A for me. Absolutely. How many assists does he have? 5. I think something like that. We got Xerxes, Dorgu, and we're turning our noses at these players. What are you talking about? Xerxes played in the Bundesliga. Xerxes played for Bayern Munich, teams like that, mate. Big teams. You know, we're turning our noses up at that because Dorgu's been good this season, Box. This is exactly what I don't like about this reactionary fan base. Dorgu's been good for Man United at his age. What he's done for this club, he's been good so far. You know, you're just looking at, you're following the trends of people. The Dorgu's trash. He hasn't been trash. He's been all right. You know, give him a chance. Give him a chance. In regards to Xerxes, Xerxes been good. Xerxes been good. He got injured. Xerxes been good, but he got injured. That's not his fault, but Xerxes has been decent since he come. Xerxes played for big clubs. Yeah, he hasn't played in Portugal. You know, he hasn't been at Portugal. He hasn't been in the Portuguese league. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Serie A is a much, much higher level. So, and when you're playing for Bundesliga, Bayern Munich, it's a much, much higher level, right? We're not talking about Leipzig and down there. We're talking about Bayern Munich, Champions League, plays in the Champions League. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, whatever we think about Xerxes, whatever we think about Dorgu, you can think about what you want, but I don't think that these players are any good. A 25-year-old player that, you know what? At the end of the day, it's been all right. It's been all right. I can get you League One players just as good as bloody Trincao. What kind of midfielder do you like? Mate, what midfielder I like? I like Bremos of this world. I like Mastantuanos of this world. I like midfielders who are dynamic, can play in various positions, centre midfield, attacking midfield, striker. I like midfielders like that. And I like midfielders, most of all, who can make a difference. You know, I come from the Cristiano Ronaldo, Cantona era. So I want players who can make a difference at the end of the day. Okay, Box. Right, Box. You got to move on with this because Solanke, Richarlison would bag 20 goals in Portugal, mate. Solanke and Richarlison would bag 20 goals in Portugal. You can laugh all you want, right? But as far as I'm concerned, you know, when's the last European trophy that Sporting won? You know, at the end of the day. So Solanke and Richarlison would bag 20 goals in the Premier League. In Sporting, at Sporting Lisbon. They would. Sorry, mate. We should look at Camara from Monaco. Good player. Good player. Good player. Yeah. Big up, Ken Jengas. Big up yourself. Absolutely. They did come from Serie A. They did come from Serie A. But at the end of the day, these were bad buys. These were bad scouting. I didn't want to buy Højlund. I didn't think Højlund was good enough. I said it. I didn't want to buy Xerxes. I didn't think Xerxes was good enough. I said it. But Xerxes hasn't been bad. Højlund has regressed. I didn't want to buy those players. I think there was Lookman. I think he was a better buy for Manchester United. Retigi was a better buy for Manchester United. These players were better. I never rated Højlund. They rated him. I didn't at the end of the day. But what I would say is that Serie A is a stronger league than the Portuguese league. You know? And only a fool would disagree. It's not a waste of money, Box. Box, listen, Box, let me tell you something. I've been a football fan for 40 years watching Man United, right? 500 games. Leave it to the experts, mate. Please. Come on. Come on, mate. Come on, mate. All right. Box is on the timeout. He played into that one. United should sign 3 or 4 players this summer. Transfer goes for break players. People can't accept defeat. People can't accept defeat. United should sign 3 or 4 players this summer before transfer goes for a break, like players like Gyokeres and Bremer and Blanche. It's savage. I agree with that, Frere. Absolutely, mate. Is Chinga good enough for the Premier League? I do not think so. I agree, mate. I'm sorry I had to block Box because he's going on. But at the moment, it's a real build. Dorgu's 20 and can only get better. If you can't see his potential, that's on you. I know. Some people are ridiculous. Ignacio is the only player I like at the moment for defense from Sporting. I like Ignacio as well. Look, I would admit when I see a good player. Like I said, I want Diamande or Ignacio. Those are the 2 players I like. I even like Hulman, right? But those are the players I like. If I see a player like Trincao who's not hitting the numbers, you know, in up front, I'm going to say it at the end of the day. Yale, we are talking about Trincao. 51 games, 10 goals and 16 assists. That's not bad for a right winger attacking midfielder. It is in Portugal, mate. And if we go to his record this season, he scored 2 goals for Wolves in the Premier League, mate. A year ago, year and a half. It's bad, mate. 10 goals is bad, mate, in Portugal. Mate, come on, that's bad. You know, levels, man, levels. I agree. Cowboy, exactly. And how would Dorgu look at Sporting Lisbon, Yorkshire Cowboy? You know, and that's what we have to look at. People don't look at this. Jengus, Portuguese league is one of the worst leagues in Europe, right? It's a Holland, you know, at the end of the day. That's what I would say. So maybe slightly better, maybe. And what I look at is that in Portugal, you're going to get a scattering of players that are good. Of course you are. But when I look at a 25-year-old Jengus, a 25-year-old who isn't hitting numbers. He's not 20. He's not 18. He's got 10 goals in 51 appearances, he says. He's 25. He's 25. You know what I mean? He's going to be 26. You know what I mean? So shouldn't he be scoring more than that? He's at his peak. That's his peak. So bring it into the Premier League. What's he going to do? Guys, ask me this question now. What would Garnacho do in the Premier in Portugal? Come on. What would Garnacho do in Portugal? He would rip it up. He would rip it up. Garnacho would rip it up in Portugal. Absolutely. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Yali, we don't want injury-prone players. Do you want another Mason Mount? Do you want another Mason Mount, Yali? Yali, homework, man, homework. Portugal is the easiest league. It is. Trust me. People, it's my man. We keep getting scammed. It's sad because people we got people in this chat just FIFA generation. We aren't being scammed. We scammed ourselves in transfers willingly. Yeah. Lucky. Yeah. I wish Big Joss, big up Jengus. Sal, what about Diamande? And you do think Man United will pressure? No, Man United are interested in Branthwaite, as you said. They're still interested in Branthwaite, mate. The problem with Branthwaite is that there is a 60 million price on Branthwaite, which is, for me, ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Jose with Porto, was it? Yeah, a long time ago. 21 years ago. Dorgu would look like a new Seedorf in Portugal. What would... guys, ask me this question now. Just shut it down. What would Garnacho do in Portugal? Right now, what would Garnacho do in Portugal? What would he do for Portuguese teams? It's a debate. There's no pressure. Agreed. There you go. Lucky Singh, I agree with that. The reason I bang on about Premier League tested, it matters. It does matter in some aspects, but it's not the be-all and end-all, Yorkshire. I don't say it's the be-all and end-all. Dorgu doesn't come from the Premier League, you know? But when you look at numbers, Yorkshire, yeah? For example, let's look at Osimhen. 26 goals in 30 appearances for Galatasaray, okay? 10 goals in the Cups, 36 goals, right? 36 goals. You need to look at that, and you look at that, that means that guy can bang, that guy can score goals. Even though he's playing in Turkey, he's done it in Serie A, that guy can score goals. Now, it's not the be on end all, but you know, by looking at that, Carboy, you know by looking at that guy can score, right? That guy can hit the back of the net. But when I see strikers in Germany on 13 goals in 33 appearances, right, playing up front for one of the better teams in Germany, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to think, well, how's that going to translate into the Premier League? How many goals is he going to score in the Premier League? I look at that, you know, and I look at it subjectively. I don't look at just things because he's my favorite player. You know, there's a lot of Trincao FC people in this street. I don't know why, but there is. And I look at that and I think, well, let's look at his record, right? Okay, Trincao. Let's look at Trincao. Trincao had 2 goals in 28 appearances for Wolves. Wolves are a very tap-minded team, you know? Cunha had 15 goals this season, right? For Wolves, in a relegation Wolves, not a better Wolves like he was playing for, in a relegation Wolves. Mbeumo had 20 goals in the Premier League, and this matters. But if the likes of Lookman and the likes of these players, De Caricature, yeah, that player, if there's the likes of these players, right, who play in Serie A, who've got numbers, 20, 25, 20, 25, you're going to have to look at it. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy played in Holland, but we looked at Ruud van Nistelrooy, and that guy was 35 goals in 35 appearances, 40 goals in 40 appearances. That guy can score. It's so glaringly obvious, isn't it? You know, but we don't want to just get any Tom, Dick, and Harry. We don't want to get players who can't get in, who are injury prone, who can't get in there, who can't get in the national team, right? And also, our numbers are a little bit average, especially playing in Portugal. And that's what I would say. Big up, Yorkshire Cowboy. The best example is Darwin Núñez. Absolutely. You have to be ready. Spot on, Sal. Look at Anthony up against solid English defenders. Like, absolutely. And people were telling me that but look at Aaron Robben. Aaron Robben cuts in and he scores. Oh, you know, they're telling me Saka cuts in and scores. But Saka and Robben have more strings to their bow. They're better players. You cannot. And I'm trying to explain to these people, how can you compare Aaron Robben and Saka with Anthony? You can't really do it, can you? It's mad. Remember Forlan? Yeah, he smashed it in the Spanish league. Yeah. Forlan was not bad though. I'll be honest with you. And Forlan, we signed him from South America. You know, Forlan wasn't bad. Look at his numbers. He started slowly, and he wasn't bad. But he did smash a lot of goals in Spain. You're right. The English league, though, the Premier League is different, guys. We beat Athletic Bilbao 7-1 on aggregate, and we can't score goals. Let that sink in. We beat them 7-1 on aggregate, and we can't score goals. But does that mean the Spanish league is crap? No, because Spanish teams are always in the latter stages of European competition, right? But when we look at the likes of Sporting Lisbon, the likes of Italy, the likes of Germany, we have to be calculated what we bring in. Are they going to be a lot better than, for example, Chido Obi Martin? Are they going to be better than Musa? You know, are they going to be better than Ibrahimov? Are they going to be better than these players? We have to look at that and think, we've got our own good young players coming through. So are these players going to be better? If I sent Chido on loan, right? Let's say I sent Chido on loan to Sporting Lisbon. Chido will score 20 plus goals at Sporting Lisbon, right? So when I'm seeing 25-year-olds, Portuguese as well, scoring 5 and 15 and you know, in the Portuguese, it doesn't fill me like, wow, you know, at the end of the day, you know? Jengus, Portugal produced some fantastic players, but the league is weak. Yeah. Big up EC, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. We are trying to rival City for Turkey. Any truth in that? EC, what I would say about that, my guy, what I would say is that as soon as Man City go in for any player, we're going to have an uphill challenge in getting them. That's what I would say in regards to that. But let's wait and see anyway. Am I worried about the kind of midfield that will replace Caliber or Bruno? Yeah, of course. At the end of the day, he's missed half a season, mate. It is pretty bad, mate. It's pretty bad. And yeah, it's pretty bad, mate. I missed half a season. No thanks. No thanks. Don't be silly. Sal, what is the difference between Gyokeres and Osman? You know, the smart person would look at that and think, yeah, you're right, actually. But, you know, unsmart people would argue the point. You know what I mean? Sal, what's the difference between Gyokeres and Osman? Pace, strength. Gyokeres is more of a finisher than Osman. Gyokeres is a man behind the last man. Gyokeres can run in behind the last man. And Gyokeres can score different types of goals. Osman's a powerhouse, absolutely. Premier League teams just can't hire money talents like other do too. Premier League teams just can't get high money talents like the other leagues do. Premier Liga. Nah. It's shit. That's why I prefer Mbeumo over Trincao. He's Premier League tested. Cunha, we need to play safe regarding transfers. Exactly. Jengus is smart. You see Jengus, guys? Jengus is smart. Jengus is looking at this in a way. And I respect everyone's opinion. That's your opinion. But I've been in this game a long time, guys. I'm not buying another Mason Mount. I'm not buying a guy who fouled at Wolves. Cunha didn't foul at Wolves. Why did Cunha score 15 goals? You know, he didn't foul, did he? You know, why? How comes? It's strange that. You know, maybe he's a better player. He's got better this. He's better screwed on. You know? Oh, goodbye, me. Mad. It's mad, mate. That's what I have to deal with, Jengus. That's what I have to do. I have to deal with this every single day. Guys, thank you for joining me. I will be back later on for the watching on between PSG and Inter Milan in the Champions League final. Don't forget to join me for that, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Absolute legends, guys. And, guys, you're not going to argue with me. So there you go. Have a great day. Enjoy it. I'll see you a bit later for the Champions League final. Much love to everyone and appreciate you all. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Peace.